What is up, everybody? This is Keith. I go by Gator Guy 231 across the DFS industry, and we are back for another two-game Champions League slate. This is not exactly the most champion of Champions League slates that we'll ever encounter. I think that lineups are meant on this slate to not feel that great. I think maybe what I'm going to outline is being a little bit different than the pack. Sometimes we get slates. So, for those that are new, welcome. For those that have watched these videos for a while, you know by now that, I stress floor plays and trying to build without goals. But I think one thing I've realized even with my own style is that you always have to be ready to tinker and look at a slate and go, look, I could pay 6,000 for 5 DK, or I can pay 4,000 for 3 DK, but then get so much more upside in another spot, or all these things. So we can't just always go, okay, I need all four set, like a 2-game set. We need all 4 set takers and, the fullbacks and then the wingers. And that's going to be my lineup. Yeah, that works on a lot of slates, right? I don't know if that's going to work here. So I'm going to outline that point, the reasons why. We'll go from there. Quick reminder, bottom right of the screen is the subscribe button. Need you to hit that if you haven't already. We are trying to grow as quick as we can at FSI. Thank you guys so much for getting us to 2,000 subscribers in under a year. That is unbelievable. Now let's get to like 5,000 in under 18 months. How about that? So could really use your help. So if you haven't done already, one of the best gifts you can give us for all the content is a subscribe. All right. And then for those that are subscribed, like, comment, all that good stuff. As you know, I will respond to all comments until lock time. And then, an hour before lock, that is my time for the FSI subscribers. All right, let's get into the slate and the odds. I do think it's worth making sure that we note this is, and I closed out of it. Apologies. I'm going to pull it up real quick. But this is the second leg. So first leg fixtures are huge. Away goals are in play. So we have to make sure that we keep that in mind. So let's pull up the odds, and I will go over the first fixtures. So Juve, the big favorite on the slate, minus 217. They are home versus Porto after losing 2-1 in the last fixture. They did get that one away goal, which is huge, meaning if they win this game 1-0, they go through. So if Ronaldo gets a PK and like Bruno Fernandes style, right, versus in the derby, what was it, Sunday, gets a PK in the 30 seconds in, while Juve probably still wants to have some fluff in there, right? They don't have to like go all out. So it's, if they score, it's going to matter how quickly, because that could dictate, what type of games that we get. Look, if you're going to stack Juventus, the ideal scenario you want is Juventus just like to not score, or not to score until the 85th minute. And you will get all sorts of DFS goodness. But again, if it flips its head, your stack could get ruined. The other game, Dortmund hosting Sevilla. This is neutral. No, this is not neutral. Sorry, this is in Germany. Why did I think that it was neutral? Anyhow, 3-2 the last fixture. Dortmund 3 away goals, meaning that if Dortmund even gets 1 goal, Sevilla's going to have to do a ton of work. So Sevilla, of all the teams here, has the most reason to attack and to be reckless and to do those things. And of all the teams maybe on this slate, actually, I guess, Porto would be worse, but, Sevilla doesn't have like the most awesome set pieces and has some complications. So let's jump into that now. I think the one play that everybody unanimously will be on is Cristiano Ronaldo. And I'm not going to say any more than that. Like, I guess that you will say something more than that. I remember a couple of years ago, was it last year or 2 years ago, but Juventus had overcome the being down versus Atletico, versus Atletico, Oblak, at that time, I believe it was Godin, like great defense, and Ronaldo just went in there and just tore them up. He loves big games. So I don't see a way that you feel like fade Ronaldo, but here's the reality. It's a phenomenal GPP fade if you just want to leverage off ownership. Go to Holland or go to Morata. Maybe that's the goal. If Ronaldo gets like 8 to 10 DK, which is a fine game at 11-3, if you can make it up, you're golden. So keep that in mind for you GPP players that want to leverage off ownership. Soccer is one of those things that crazy events can happen. So anytime you have somebody super, super high owned, there's always going to be some equity in fading. Second forward, in a lot of ways, I'm gonna say is going to decide the slate. I think there's just a lot that decides the slate because there's really boring ways to go, and you can go with a little bit of flair. I think Holland, obviously, is awesome. I don't think I have to say that. One thing that's really interesting if Sevilla's having to commit a ton of numbers forward, right? Because they score 1 goal, they're still behind. They need to score 2 goals and then not let anything happen. And then if Dortmund scores 1, then Sevilla has to score 2 more. Like that's how this whole away thing works until they match those 3 away goals. So, I guess they'll have to score 1 more after Dortmund scores, but you get the point. So Holland might have some opportunities. The price is scary, but it's doable depending on how you want to build. The reality behind Dortmund is outside of Holland, there's not really like people that you want to play. Like Jadon Sancho isn't in, so it's probably going to mean Hazard is on corners. Just to give perspective, when he was on corners last game versus Munich, where they did score 2 goals, Hazard got no crosses, 0, none. Marco Reus, who might have been like alternate captain, 0 crosses. Like Dortmund stinks for DFS outside of goal scoring. So just be careful. I don't think Hazard is the guy I want to play. At that point, I'd rather play Morata. I think Morata is really interesting. I think that Chiesa and Bernardeschi is going to get a lot of talk as like your second forward. But I think Morata right in between the two of them. If you just want to be different, Juve needs to score. Morata's been phenomenal for Juve all season. I just think he's in like a weird zone where people are going to go up to Chiesa or down to Bernardeschi, or down to maybe Ocampos. Let's see who else maybe people will play. Ford. That's probably it. Ford's dark. Ford is very dark. So I don't know. Morata is interesting. I think Chiesa, what you'd want to see with Chiesa is no Quadrado and no Bernardeschi. If you have none of those guys, Chiesa is a monopoly set taker and he's a lock and load. If you just see Bernardeschi, he potentially splits. This past weekend, not so much, but the game before that he did, from what I remember. But if no Bernardeschi, I think that you can say Chiesa will get some corners even if Quadrado is in. So Bernardeschi is the guy that you really just want to watch. He's been playing like a left wing back. They moved Alexandro back to like a back 3, back 2 this past weekend because Quadrado is in. Pirlo does this all like positionless football and moving things around, in possession, out of possession. But I think Bernardeschi, if in, is fine. That's set pieces. He could play like a wing back. 7,600, I prefer my 5,600, right? But, I think he's fine. Gives you a floor. But Chiesa is a better player. Scored the first leg. Been really good for them the last like 2 months. So I think Chiesa, the favorite second forward is Holland if you can get there. Then Chiesa, Morata as a phenomenal pivot off of some ownership. Bernardeschi. Suso, I guess, is in play. Same with Munier. Their just prices are tough. I don't know. Sevilla's just a tough team. I think that in that price range, I'd just rather go Lucas Campos. Takes their PKs. If you look at like a 2-year run is, probably their best player. But I don't know. It's hard to get like super, super pumped about any of them right at their current prices. You probably just prefer to play Juventus piece as a -200 favorite. But, teach their own. And Nesri, I guess, too, if you just want to play a Sevilla striker. Look, Sevilla and Porto will go very, very low owned for GPP. I don't think anybody's looking at Sevilla and just like outside of their fullbacks and going, man, I'm loving the stack. I'm loving putting Suso and Ocampos and Nesri together and fading Ronaldo. Like, I don't think a lot of people are really excited to do that. So, if you stack them up and Sevilla scores 3 goals, you're probably sweating GPPs and Juve wins 1-0, a Morata goal. You decide to play Szczesny and now you're rolling. So, crazy GPP thoughts. Crazy stuff wins tournaments. And if you're playing like these big $15, $20, I haven't even looked at what the prize pool is. But if you're playing the lottery GPP, you should be planning for crazy. If you plan for chalk, the chances of you winning number 1 by yourself in these top heavy GPPs just doesn't exist. So play for number 1. If that means that you miss min cash, so be it. Donate the extra $10 to get a shot at whatever it's 10 or 20,000. Marega, it's been good in the league play. I can't see playing any Porto outside of one guy. Okay, that's forward. Midfield. So I think the one Porto guy and the guy that I'm going to play is Oliveira. Takes their PKs, Is their leading goal scorer in the league. I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to it. Let me see if I can look it up. But as I go and say that, so he just kind of like that always gets their guy. He does a lot of defensive responsibility, gets a lot of tackles, but he's just really damn good. Yes, he does lead the team. 10 goals in the league. Also has 4 assists, taking some monopoly of corners. Look, here's the thing with it, and I just don't think he's priced right. I expected to open the slate and him be like 7K. So, here's the argument for why I still play him. Juve scores early, and then Porto needs to push, right? And then Juve can sit back. So you got this like yin and yang. I don't want to like just go that Porto has nothing to play for, because you get that one goal, and now Porto's pushing it, and Oliveira at 6,100. He ends with 8 crosses. 2 shots assisted, 3 fouls drawn. You see 12 DK and you go, son of a gun. He was only 6,100. And instead you played, Weston McKennie at 5,800 for hoping for a luck box goal. Like not what you want to do. It'll be interesting what Sevilla does. If Oscar has been taking majority of their corners at 7,800, it's tough because he probably doesn't play 90 minutes, but he's viable. Ramsey, probably not. Again, if you want to stack Juve and he's in, he's fine. Ramsey is the guy that needs a goal or assist, even when he takes like an occasional corner. At 6,400, he just really gets there from floor. You just need that goal or assist, but brilliant passer, so it works. I think Papu Gomez is going to get a lot of hype. If you may watch some other videos or listen to some other pods, they might talk about him. I'm just going to tell you, I hate Papu Gomez here. All right. So this is going to be kind of my bold call, and where I hope that I can help people start differentiating. So you get these logs and you look at these logs and you go, 11.2, 10.5, 14.5, 8.1, 17.8. Oh my goodness, this guy is amazing. That was at Atlanta. I was trying to think about this coming on. I think it's so often as like DFS players or fantasy players or whatever it is that we think about a player, in this instance, and just say the player is what creates that like DFS conducive style that loves all the crossing, that loves all the shooting. And I'm sure they do in that system, and they get to a new team and the system's completely different, or their role is completely different, or their instructions are completely different. I think that's what we're seeing with Papu Gomez. It's not the Atalanta, like full out attack at all times, Papu Gomez. So, we had the disappointment, the first leg, 60 minutes, 5.5 minutes. Let me read you his last 3 games. All right. Last 3 games. And this is in league play. So 76 minutes last game versus not good La Liga team. I don't have it pulled up, but 76 minutes, 1 shot, no crosses, 2 fouls, 1 interception. So that's like a 1.2 DK. Game before that, as a sub, 41 minutes, 1 shot assisted, 2 tackles, 1 foul. So that's 2, 3 DK, depending on if Opta counted the tackles. Game before that, subbed at half. Started the game, subbed at half, 45 minutes, 0 cross, 0 shot, 1 foul drawn. So this is not the Gomez of old of Atalanta. This is a different Papu Gomez. I kind of hope he starts, and that I can fade him, and hopefully he's high owned, and hopefully my research is right, correct? And he disappoints and subs off, and we get an advantage. But I will not be playing Papu Gomez if he's in. I was thinking, like, would you play Joanne Jordan without corners, right? Because last game we saw Acuna took some corners, Jordan took some corners, Escuero's taking some corners. Like, everybody's been taking corners with Gomez on, except for Gomez. So I just think it's not a good play. They could completely change it up, make me look like an idiot, but there you go. Kuleveski, if he starts up top, I don't see a way that Pirlo doesn't start Morata with Ronaldo. It's better for Ronaldo to play with the true striker. Morata gets to play that Benzema role. There is Joanne Jordan, 5,400. I'd probably rather play him than Papu. Papu just doesn't seem to get 90 minutes. Bellingham, classic, like, you play him, you get like 6 to 8 DK. You go, how did he do it? You go, I don't know. And you take it and you run. Rabiot, 4.7 score over the weekend. It's half decent. Maybe plays a little bit more of an attacking role. Look, these plays suck. Like, this is why you play Oliveira at 6,100. He's just a great play. Look, this slate, if I could play 4 or 5 defenders, I would. I think it's a 3 defender slate for sure for cash games. I think some of the best players are at defender. You know, who is it? Dahoud's been decent for them. Rakitic stinks, but 4.4, he could show up. But same with Oliver Torres. All these guys are kind of I don't really want to play them. Like, that's just like, you just have all these guys. You just don't really want to play. All right, that's enough. If anybody else is down here that starts, they're for play. Uribe, 3,000, 6.8 fantasy points per game. What did he do last game versus Juve? Former LMX guy, 3.4 DK. Hell, for 3,000, would you rather get 3.4 from Uribe or 4.5 from Gomez for 6K? That's the point. Like, take the savings, spend it on defender, because defender's half decent. All right, let's talk about defender. Juan Cuadrado, look, some inflated logs in here, but he did start over the weekend, did not take corners. Kuleveski took some corners. I think there's a decent shot that you don't see Kuleveski in that Cuadrado and Chiesa split. No Bentancur, so we don't have to worry about him randomly taking some sets. So Cuadrado, been a DFS kind of dream for a while. Longest time we had to play him as a forward midfield, but now he's a defender. 6,900 is kind of steep, but you're going to most likely, if you don't play Haaland, you're going to have the ability to play him. So I think that works. Alexandre would be super careful. He's been playing in the back three or playing center back. So if you see Kula, like, just be careful. I probably will not play Alexandre just because I'm terrified of paying 6.2 for a center back. But I think you'd be much better suited to pay 5,100 for Navas. Jesus Navas in an attacking type of position or attacking type of game script could end up with like 12, 15 crosses. So I really like that 5,100. I think Acuna at 4,900 is really nice too. Again, another guy that loves to cross. Maybe he has some corners. The 2 straight games, the left back for Sevilla has taken some corners. One game was Acuna, one game was Esquerdo. So I think that those guys make sense. So I just gave you 3 defenders. I'm not even like bringing up, and obviously if Esquerdo takes over, if Esquerdo starts over Acuna, you can do that. And then if you really need the value, Nico Schultz might be starting as like a left back or a left wing back, where it is doubtful for Dortmund. And yeah, Nico Schultz isn't all that great for DFS since he's gone to Dortmund. But look, he signed for a good deal of money. Nico Schultz played for the German national team. He has some talent, and it is 200 over the minimum. So whatever, in play. Finally, goalie. You know this by now. You know the drill. Cheapest goalie possible. Plug him in. Make your lineup. If all of a sudden you have an extra 2,000, I am not telling you to play Marcus Dean over Szczesny. Go ahead, just play Szczesny. But if you cannot find it without screwing up your lineup, just play Marcus Dean or play, who, I don't even know who's in goal for. Is it Berkey? It should be Berkey, I think. I don't know. I don't pay attention to goalie. Like, I play who fits, and it works. Like, I played Pickford today in EPL, and, I was like cursing myself, like, why do you play Pickford? You hate Pickford. And he still shows up with, I think he ended up with the same points as Mindy for 2,000 less. And, Mindy had 1 save, Pickford got like 8. Like, goalie. It's the most important position that you have no chance of like actually like planning it out and it going to the way you want it to. So plug the cheapest, get all the players that you can project, and then go from there. And if it fits, it's great. Guys, good luck. Thank you for watching. See ya.